that shakes you to your core. Because like you look at the person, like you love them. Like
they're a good person.
Yeah, you don't want.
Yeah.
But I do think though that it is good to cultivate hope, like that, and have that sense of mystery. Like we just don't know.
Is that good for us? Does that make us feel better?
Well, here's the way hope was put, I think, by von Balthasar. Again, I'm not researching this. We talked about it a little bit in seminary. This is the way I understood. I didn't read the book, but he said we should have the desire that all people be saved, because, of course, some people may go to hell. We don't know for certain how many people are in hell or whatever, but God's desire, at least on this side of eternity, is that all people be saved. So when we have hope that all people are saved, we're participating in what God's desire is for the world.
Sure.
So it's a good thing. Like in reverse, you shouldn't desire somebody to be burning in hell.
Never.
Yeah.
So I guess
you may be able to understand it logically and understand that could be a consequence, but you shouldn't desire it.
Someone like you that spends so much time in prayer. I mean, you obviously have a better relationship with Christ than I do, than Jeff does. What would be the point of somebody to have a close relationship with God while they're alive if, like you said, they could just make that conversion as they're falling to their death? Is it so your life here on earth is a little better, so you have because it's just a greater feeling of grace? And I'm saying this as kind of like devil's advocate, saying, what's the point? I know what the point is for me, but especially in 2018, how do you tell people that a counterculture walk with Christ is a great thing while you're alive? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so this is a part of the faith that we talk about, like the science of the saints. Mm-hmm. So things from the saints that have been culled over the centuries. And I don't know, I can't think of any direct citations, but there is this consensus that it's better to suffer in this world and to go through purgatory in this world than to wait until the next life, and that it's much worse. And there is this idea that your capacity to love in this world and to receive divine love, kind of determines how you spend all eternity, kind of thing. Not that everybody's happy in heaven, especially after they've gone through purgatory. But that purgatory, it's much better to be purged of your sins in this life than to wait until the next life.
I bring it up because I think some of the happiest people I've seen recently have been religious sisters.
Yeah.
Here you have young women who go into these orders, they profess the vows, and they go from having stuff and friends and boyfriends and the possibility of being a mother, which they all wanted to be, to not having any of that. And they're so happy, and it's not a fake happiness. It's a legit, true, from inside happiness, and I think it's such a good advertisement for walking your faith during life. That if you can look at them and they've got nothing, but they're a lot happier than I am, I think it's just a great testament to what that grace can look like.
Absolutely. And honestly, I don't know how to put this because it would be a very unpopular thing to say very directly these days, but there was this idea in the church fathers that, like with celibacy and the celibate vocation, whether it's men or women, you have the time to dedicate to the highest joy, which is contemplation and the meditation on divine mysteries. And what I've seen, it's not all married people are this way, and it's not all people in the world. Sometimes when you're going like from thing to thing a lot, and you're just dealing with life stress and things like that, you don't have that time to dedicate to the pursuit of contemplation. And I talk about that a lot, that gift of contemplation. And I've seen it. I know one contemplative sister. She's about my age, but she's a hermit. And with a life like that, it's like there's a lot of suffering, there's a lot of trial, but there's also an experience of God's love, which is more intense than what most people experience. Yeah, there's like that exclusivity. I mean, but it's strange. It's like paradoxical. It's like in the struggle is also the joy and things like that.
No, I mean, I totally agree. How in 2018, in this world that is so focused on stuff and me, it's all about me. How can you're not charged with growing the church, but how do you grow your flock in the church without twisting the faith and twisting the message?
Well, here's the thing: secular psychology, like the positive psychology, pleasure is not the way to happiness statistically. Like they may not be able to verify that, like contemplatives are more happy than other people or whatever, but like there's no doubt that there's tons of studies, there's tons of consensus among positive psychologists that meaning, purpose, friendship, these are the ways to happiness. There's a lot of different things that they would talk about with that, but very low on it is pleasure and comfort. In fact, pleasure and comfort tends to make you kind of tyrant and miserable. But I've seen that like you guys. I mean, it's an interesting case. I look at folks in our parish, and would you say, I don't know, maybe you wouldn't. Would you say that you're happier now than when you were 18?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And I know you go without sleep on a regular basis,
right? You say happy. My whole definition of happiness has been flipped on its head.
Oh, it's totally different.
And that comes along with that wisdom I was talking about. And that brings me to another